What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you not to go messing around with that culture vulture again, but you did it anyway, and now you're embarrassing yourself more than you did when you told the world that the earth was flat. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So it has come to my attention that Lord Jamar has decided that he is going to just squash the beef with DJ Vlad and go back on Vlad's YouTube channel and be interviewed by DJ Vlad. So, when I saw that, I had to just kind of hang my head and be embarrassed for Lord Jamar. I don't know if he feels any type of embarrassment about this, but, for a grown man who claims to be a 5%er and who had made a very public and prominent stance in saying that you would never go on Vlad's program ever again, I would think that now, after several years of not being on Vlad, the fact that you're going back, that you have basically ruined your integrity at this point. And that is something that is very hurtful to see as a black man. It's very hurtful to see a black man go back on his word like that. Now, I don't know what the real reason is behind Lord Jamar wanting to go back on Vlad TV's program. The only thing I can think of is, I guess no matter how pro-black you are, a lot of black people feel, especially black people within the entertainment industry, feel that, the white man's ice is colder and the white man's views are better. Okay, because I've said on this channel several times before that there is no reason for any black person to go and be interviewed on Vlad TV. Vlad TV only survives by the fact that black people keep going on there and allowing him to suck off of their soul and their blood and their energy. That's why Vlad is a very appropriate name for him, because he's named after one of the most famous bloodsuckers ever to show up in European history. And the fact that you have Negroes who keep on going back, even when you have Negroes who publicly criticize Vlad, they still go back on his show to be interviewed. And this includes a lot of people out here. This includes Lord Jamar. This includes Dr. Umar. This includes Tariq Nasheed, pro-black, and be very critical of Vlad and be very critical of the nonsense and the fuckery that goes on Vlad's program. But still, they continue to go back to be interviewed on his channel, which I don't understand. Especially when you're a black man who already has a platform of his own that overreaches what Vlad TV has. Okay, if you're someone like Tariq Nasheed or Lord Jamar or Dr. Umar, you already have a platform that far exceeds what Vlad TV can bring to you. You don't need him. You don't need him to advertise yourself. You don't need him as someone to boost your own show. You already have an audience. And, when you talk about someone like Tariq Nasheed not only has an audience on social media, he has his own personal venue. He's got several podcasts. He's got a very big presence on social media. He even has his own contacts within the mainstream media. He doesn't need Vlad. But still, he wants to give his soul and energy to keep Vlad's punk ass alive. And that's all Negroes are doing when they go on his show, is you're keeping him alive. It's not helping you, it's helping him. You're legitimizing him. So now, when Vlad comes out with some more fuckery, when he decides to be very disrespectful to someone's our ancestors, or be disrespectful to any of our music legends, or be an asshole and try to get one of our own people fired from the private or public sector, then you Negroes are going to be sitting there looking stupid, or it's going to be hard for you to come out and criticize him when you went on his show and gave him the clout and gave him the energy and gave him the ability and the legitimacy to go out there and cut our throats. You can't complain about this devil and this demon when you're the one that gives him the power. You're basically like putting the knife in his hand to go out there and cut our throats when you do that. You've empowered his bitch ass. And like I said, it needs to stop. I don't know what it is with you Negroes. I don't see what it is that you have to go to Vlad. Once again, you got your own programs. You got your own audience. You have your own platforms. You don't need Vlad. Vlad should have fallen off into irrelevance several years ago by now. Hell, last year, Marlon Wayans proved to you that by doing probably one of the most publicized interviews, and before that he had a feud with Vlad TV, but Marlon Wayans went on to Shannon Sharp's program and had one of the best celebrity interviews I've ever seen, and he did it without Vlad. And showed Vlad, when Vlad was being a little bitch about the whole situation, because Vlad didn't want to properly compensate Marlon for his time. Marlon showed Vlad, we don't need you. And yet, still, Negroes still want to go on to Vlad TV's show for whatever reason. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, but maybe I just don't understand because I'm not in their position. And this is probably why I will never be in these people's position as far as being in the public eye, because I don't just accept that the white man's ice is colder. I truly believe that there's nothing wrong with us being self-sufficient and being within our own group. And it'd be different if Vlad was just a white guy who was not involved in any BS. Like if he was just like a white interviewer who had not insulted our ancestors or who has not insulted our legends in music, then it'd been like, okay, I can see why someone would go on there and be interviewed. But the fact that he has been involved in so much BS and so many controversies and gotten Negroes literally locked up with the nonsense that he's had them say on his show, you would think like that will be it. At least like the street guys, you would think that they would stop messing with Vlad. The fact that so many street guys have basically done confessions on his show and wound up being arrested and being locked up behind their interviews, that should be the end of it, right? But now, like I said, you got Negroes still going on there, and it's real sad to see that Lord Jamar has gone back. He's basically not only gone back on Vlad, he's gone back on his word. And to me, this is worse than the flat earth stuff. At least the flat earth stuff, you can kind of, laugh that off and just pretend that it's just some dumb conspiracy theory. But when you made a solemn vow that you were not going to mess with this person anymore, and then you go crawling back and you're sitting there looking pitiful, you're on the show looking pitiful, and you guys are apologizing to each other and, doing a mea culpa. It just looks stupid, and like I said, as a man who claims to be God and as a man who claims to be a 5%er, you would think that you wouldn't want to do something like that. And, I saw someone else talking about this subject earlier this morning where they were saying like, they didn't see like the big deal because Vlad has not done anything to them personally. So if Vlad doesn't hurt them personally, then it's okay. It doesn't really matter if anyone's on his show. But let me tell you something, Negro. Vlad has done something terrible to all of us personally by his disrespect of our culture. All right, the stuff that Vlad has done is a personal attack on Black American culture. And in saying that, no black person should ever fuck with Vlad ever again. We should let him go the way of the dinosaur and just go completely extinct. Let him go find some white mobsters to interview. Let him go find some white pop stars to interview since he thinks he's such hot shit, right, in the entertainment industry. Go interview some white pop stars and see how far you get. No, he wants to keep on grabbing Negroes and having them on his show, right, to get young black people to watch and promote absolute trash ass music to the black youth out there. He wants to keep on going with that, promoting buffoonery and coonery and being extremely disrespectful and basically living off of our culture. And once again, you celebrity Negroes keep on co-signing him and giving him legitimacy. You need to stop that. So anyway, you folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. I would love to hear your opinions on this story. Anyway, mad black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.